Hey all, welcome to week 8 of our online English 1020 class. It's hard to believe, but we are charging towards the finish line for Project 2, your iSearch project. This video is going to introduce you to our activities for the week, which mainly include a lot of revision and a lot of feedback from me and from your peers. So let's take a look at this week. Okay, so here I am in our digital classroom, and I'm going to head over to course materials. As usual, I'll be opening up Project 2. And as you can see, this is our last week in Project 2. So I'm clicking on Week 8 Activities folder. And this is what we have on deck this week. Watch the Week 8 instructor video, which you're doing. You'll watch your little vid. For reading, you'll just be reading over your own paper, revising as needed, and reading over your classmates' full drafts of their iSearch papers. And you'll be writing, obviously, comments on your classmates' drafts. You'll write Reflection Journal 7, which is pretty much exactly the same as the reflection journal that you did after you finished Project 1, or when you were doing the revision process, excuse me. So Reflection Journal 7 asks you to think about what you've changed in your draft between your shitty first draft and your reader review draft, and what you're planning to change for your final draft. And the last thing that you'll be writing is your finalized version of Project 2. So it kind of breaks down like this. Wednesday, watching this video, making note of any questions that you have, shoot those to me via email, or if you have a conference with me, then we can talk about it then. By Friday, you want to shoot to have your revised draft. So I'm going to be reading your shitty first drafts this week and putting comments on them. By Friday, you want to aim to have your full revised draft posted to the thread. I'll show you that in a minute. You want to aim to have comments on your classmates' drafts, but I actually put the due date as Saturday for this one. But as you know, as long as everything's turned in by Sunday, it's all good. And then for Sunday, your whole Project 2 is due by 11:59 p.m. So like I said, this week I'll be working on giving you comments in your shitty first drafts that you've turned in. And when you're reading through my comments, be revising them, be ready to post your reader review draft to the comment thread. And one thing that I'd like you guys to be thinking about is the orders of concern as we move through these revisions. So when I am looking at your shitty first drafts this week, I will be focused a lot on higher order concerns. So whole paper issues, your question, if you're following the assignment correctly or if you're way off track, I'll try to help you get back on track. I'll be looking also at middle order concerns. So I'll be thinking about how you're integrating your sources, how you're organizing your paragraphs. But as we continue in the revision process, you want to think really carefully about getting down to those lower order concerns. So when you guys are reading each other's papers, since we've already read our intros and at least one source write-up, you're going to be looking at the rest of the body of your classmates' papers, looking at their conclusion, and you can give a little bit more time to some lower order concerns. So this could be punctuation, this could be issues of grammar. Now, I will say, if you're not confident in your punctuation abilities or your grammar knowledge, don't try to use what's not there. So just be on the lookout if something sounds a bit off as you're reading your friend's paper. Just make a note of it. If you don't know what the problem is, don't try to pretend, but just sort of give it a highlight, a circle, and say, hey, this sounds off to me. Can you look it up? Maybe you need to have different punctuation, but I don't know. So we can always be good readers for each other, even if we don't have a ton of knowledge of punctuation or lower order concerns, or even citation stuff. Citations are a lower order concern. Thinking about where your periods go and if they're before or after, which is it? Did you say after the parentheses? Then you're right on track. Knowing where to punctuate and put all your in-text citations and how to set up your works cited page, these things are, if you have the knowledge, really good to point out in your friends' papers. If you don't have the knowledge, just pay attention to see if anything looks a bit off. And if it does, don't try to fix it. If you don't know what's wrong, just make a note of it for your friends. Okay. So last thing I want to do is I want to take you guys through all the different places to turn in your reader review draft and your final draft. Okay. So after you've gotten your comments back from me on your shitty first draft, you'll want to make some revisions. And then when you have your revised draft, you're going to go over to the menu down to project drafts. And just like we've been doing throughout this project, and I think it's been working really well. I've been noticing that it's been a lot easier for people to access each other's papers and give feedback in the comment thread. So awesome. Keep it up. So when you're in project drafts, you can scroll all the way to the bottom to see the thread to post your iSearch reader review. So again, this is the one that you revised after you get my comments. Now, this is exactly the same story as the other threads. You'll create a thread. You'll want to name it your first name and last name or last initial in the subject line. Any questions or comments that you have for readers go in the text box, and then you can upload your paper. Okay, so that's where you're going to post your reader review. Once you get feedback from your classmates, you'll be able to revise again. Isn't this great? You have all this time to be fine-tuning and honing this paper. So you want to go to course materials, and just like for project 1, but I do want to clarify this because some people had questions on project 1. When you click into the project 2 folder for the iSearch, we've gone through all our weekly activities, and you will want to click on the link for project 2 assignment description. You can't submit anything here in the outside of the project. You have to click and go inside, as it were. And what you'll see when you click on it is that you can view the rubric. So it'll pop up right here. You can see what everything is worth in the paper. This would be a great thing for you to use as you're rereading your own paper and revising for the final draft. Little hint there for you. You can see the due date is Sunday, October 22nd, 11:59 p.m. And as you scroll through the assignment, which you may even want to reread just to refresh yourself, you'll see at the very bottom, past the copy of the rubric, past the learning outcomes, you have the ability to attach your file. This is where you will post your final draft of Project 2. Whew! Wow. It's hard to believe that Project 2 is almost over and that next week we're going to be starting Project 3A already. Man, that is exciting. I'm really proud of all the hard work that you guys have put in thus far. Now that we're here kind of at the mid-semester mark, we need to make sure that we take a deep breath, but don't lose focus, because the next couple of projects come fast and the level of intricacy and expectancy that you can apply the knowledge that you've already gained thus far in the semester, it only increases. Don't panic. Everything's going to be fine. But just know that you can't take your game face off just yet. Keep that game face on, and we will finish the second half of the semester just as strong as we started, if not stronger. All right, you guys, have a great week. Happy revising.